Assalamu alaikum. Hello and welcome guys. Chris James from Oryx Consulting here with our Oryx Talks, which we haven't done for quite some time. Long story short, Lindsay's been away. Lindsay's pretty much the producer of all these kinds of things, so I needed her back on deck to help us out with these things. So something really special that we want to get into this week is our new release of Lindsay's pet project, OryxCare. Everything to do with mental health and the support of people in the construction industry and in the industry that I love personally, the pipeline industry. So without further ado, let's get into it for this week's Oryx Talks. Thanks for coming back, guys, and sorry it's been so long.
Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Hi guys, welcome back. Chris James here with you from Oryx Consulting. This week with Oryx Talks, I want to introduce the person that's always been behind the camera asking all the questions, Lindsay Bowe. Lindsay's here this week to talk about her pet project, OryxCare. With Oryx Consulting, we're all about helping the clients build a better project. That's our motto, and that is what we believe to our core. Part of that and introducing Lindsay into Oryx Consulting was to try and help the people side of the aspect. Lindsay helps people deal with the situations that they're in. So we've come up with this new product, if you will, or new service of Oryx Consulting, which is OryxCare. While Oryx Consulting focuses solely on the equipment aspects and processes and maintenance and all those things to help your project, Lindsay's focus is on the people. Without people and productive people, projects are nothing, and I can speak with that from first hand. So without further ado, Lindsay, welcome, and thanks for your time, and thanks for getting out from behind the camera and getting in front of the camera and introducing yourself to everyone. So let's start with your pet project, OryxCare, and it's probably not even a project, that's probably the wrong word to use. OryxCare is more than that, it's a service. So in your words, what is OryxCare?
Yeah, basically what you said, it just focuses on the people, like preventative maintenance for people versus machines. So I just noticed a trend in the construction industry of mental health issues, substance abuse issues, which is my background, and I thought, why not introduce some consulting services, some one-on-one stuff for the time being that people can access easily.
Perfect. On that, Lindsay and I have known each other for many years, and I've known of Lindsay's background, and it wasn't until I started talking about the construction industry, which Lindsay's father has been in the construction industry her whole life. It wasn't until Lindsay started doing some digging and really got into the bad side, and the side that I certainly look. I've been in some dark situations on projects before, but never have I been opened up to some of the statistics that Lindsay has been finding. So I sort of just said, this is what we do, and then Lindsay sort of took the bull by the horns, if you will, from there, dug right in and got into the statistics of it, and what Lindsay was telling me just literally blew my socks off, if you will. It's really alarming, and it needs something that it needs to be addressed. So this is why Lindsay spent so much time in the background. This isn't something that's happened overnight. It's come about as to how can we best help people in the construction industry. So obviously OryxCare has been born. So tell us, who's it for, Lindsay? Who's we say the construction industry, but who are the people that we're really trying to target here?
Anybody in the construction industry, but people who are just struggling just with the industry itself, that the aspects of it that could cause.
Okay, so Yeah, so the
mental
people that are really struggling on the projects that they're in, is it for people that are in remote situations mainly, or is it across the board in the construction industry? Who do you think are the people, after speaking with your father, who's like I say, has been in the construction industry, and a lot of your family have been too, and some of my stories, it's across the board, would you say?
I think remote workers could probably benefit the most,
Right.
because it's easily accessible from no matter where you're at. But yeah, across the board, my dad's never worked from home, and most of the people that he works with never worked from home, and they could still,
Away from home.
Yeah, away from home, and they could still benefit from it as well.
Yeah.
I just think remote workers.
Yeah. It really is, as Lindsay says, an across the board, anyone in the construction industry, and this is the focus and the target of OryxCare. But like Lindsay says, it's the people that are away from family, away from friends, that can benefit the most from it, and are probably, correct me if I'm wrong here, but more susceptible to, dark thoughts and things where, they're missing home, they're missing family a lot more, young children, so on and so forth, even old children. Special dates, there's a lot of people in the construction industry that miss a lot of those special dates.
It just those things intensify
Okay.
mental health concerns.
Gotcha.
Just the isolation and
Yeah.
things like that.
Why is it needed? I mean, you and I know this, but for the audience,
Statistically, it's really alarming how many people in the construction industry struggle, and those are just the people who have spoken out. That I
Sure.
suspect there's way more that actually do have mental health issues.
Yep.
It's also male dominant, the industry itself.
Yes.
Men are less likely to reach out for help and receive the help they need.
Guilty.
So yeah, I just think something easy, something confidential,
Yes.
just is really
Why it's needed, yeah. And that goes a lot with that. Look, there's nothing that we're going to talk about that's going to ever be politically correct. So sorry if we offend anyone with this, but it is predominantly a male-dominated field.
not that females couldn't benefit as well, but just
Absolutely not.
the
Absolutely
facts,
not. Yeah, but these are the facts, and I know from personal experience on 350 man camps out in the desert of Australia, we would be lucky, even with some of the catering staff and that, to possibly have 6 to 10 females on a project. So it's while the statistics are there for the males, it doesn't mean, like Lindsay says, that there isn't areas where we can help anyone, male, female, or anything like that in the construction industry. We've been for months and months and months now, well, it's been over a year, realistically, that we've really been going down the path of OryxCare
consistently. It's probably been about 2 years that I've been doing research and just started coming across the stats of it and how big of an issue it actually is. I've been doing research for about 2 years.
Yeah. I want to add on to that the why it's needed. Something that infuriates me is people that, or companies or situations or industries that know that there's a problem. They love doing a hashtag, they love doing awareness of it, but in my opinion, you've got to do something about it. You can't, if a machine's broken or a machine is consistently being broken the same way on every project that you go to, you need to change something. You need to come up with solutions. We always said in the maintenance crew that we were always there to solve problems. That was our number one goal, and you have to come up with solutions to problems to
Not
fix
that
them.
awareness is great.
Absolutely, it's a first step, but everywhere we looked, there was awareness. There was governments spending millions of dollars, industry leaders spending millions of dollars on awareness, which is great. Don't get me wrong, and I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is, at what point do you move past that and come up with solutions? It's really, the reason behind needing it is to provide a solution rather than just another hashtag, just another follow us. It's to try and get down into the nuts and bolts of how can we best help the people that need it the most. OryxCare is there for the individuals, okay? It's also there for the company representatives, for companies themselves and everything like that. What does it look like? the consulting that you do?
Anybody who's just having a hard time, who just needs a little, maybe just a little extra support with just some knowledge of what it is they're going through, why they're feeling the way they're feeling, and some possible solutions.
Okay.
That's pretty much it. Just having that knowledge base of, okay, this is why I feel this way.
Yep.
This is what's causing it, and this is what I can do going forward to get out of this slump.
That's something that Lindsay and I have spoken a lot about over the years, and that's how to deal with situations. I know how much Lindsay's helped me personally deal with understanding certain aspects of why I would get so angry on projects, and I'm talking about things from the past and that. But Lindsay has a wealth of knowledge on tips, tricks, all those things that I know with machinery, Lindsay knows with the brain and mental health and all those kinds of things. So it's not, and we really need to stress this is not therapy. It's got therapy is something totally different, and Lindsay explained it to me very, very well, because I said, okay, well, what is therapy and what is consulting? So I know what consulting is, obviously, for what we do with companies and helping them with procedures and maintenance and equipment and things like that. Therapy is something that goes very in depth to get an understanding of a root cause behind a particular problem or an attribute with someone. Would you say that?
It's way more in depth. There's therapeutic models used with that person. So a therapist practices off of a theory or a model, and they're applying that to that person and their problems. Whereas consulting really is just a conversation.
Consulting is dealing with the here and now. So this is, you're in a situation where you're away from home. You have, there might be certain thoughts that you have about loneliness and all these kinds of things. This is what the consulting aspect is. It is helping you to deal with the current situation that you're in now.
Therapy looks at it more as a problem, and you're diagnosed with this disorder, and this is the problem, and this is the treatment. Whereas consulting is it's just a conversation. It's just information and solutions.
Solutions for dealing with current situations. So that's the best way of describing.
It doesn't look at it as you have a problem. It looks at it as you're in a unique situation and you just need
how to deal with that. So that's on the one-on-one aspect of it. So anyone can do that. Okay, so if you're on a project in North Africa, if you're on a project in Australia, if you're in a project anywhere through the GCC, Greater Middle East region, North America, South America, it doesn't matter. It is a one-on-one online session, and that is from the individual's perspective. From a company perspective and a project perspective, how can you help those guys?
So when there are mental health issues or conflict or anything on a job site, obviously productivity is going to be down, retention is going to be down. It's going to have pretty big effects on the job itself. So from that perspective, I could just go over signs to look for that your workers are having a hard time, signs of substance abuse issues, tips on effective communication. In the construction management staff, to give them a little bit of a heads up and a little bit of an overview as to, hey, these are the signs to look for, here's some tips and tricks to look out for, here's even some ways to change the way that you do something or look at something. And I know myself, I managed people for many, many years on cross-country pipeline projects, and I know that I could have used a lot of this, and I know a lot of project managers thought I could have used it too, especially some of my anger issues in my younger days. But that is something, learning how, that I've had to learn over time, is how to deal with people and how to manage people. I think I'm quite effective at it now, and that comes back to a lot of my communication skills. But I know if I would have had someone like Lindsay in the early days, steer me, just give me the nudge in the right direction, and this is something that Lindsay is extremely good at doing. Lindsay isn't, and this is from first-hand experience, Lindsay is not someone who will
you need to do it this way and that's wrong. Lindsay is someone that will, it's like a human whisperer. Lindsay will steer you. Listen, try this next time. I'm not saying it's going to work, but I would just try, it's a quiet conversation with a calming voice to get the most out of you. And Lindsay understands people. I've had Lindsay coming into many, many meetings for over 2 years now. When we move away from a meeting, I can read people reasonably well and I understand where certain people come from. Lindsay is an absolute master at reading people. There is no question in my mind. I call her my secret weapon in meetings because Lindsay can go in there and tell me that person's this, that person's that, and give me that really the behind the scenes look at what makes that kind of person tick. That is something that Lindsay is born with, and that's something that, I don't know, you can't teach that kind of thing, but understanding people and understanding how to communicate with people, how to get the best out of people is so important on large projects. So
it's really just assessing a situation and then me pointing you in a direction of what the issues are, why they're happening, and what to do going forward.
And that's something to really to ram home, if you will, if you want to use those kinds of words. But in that remote, and I'll use remote because that's what I'm used to so much, but that remote industry, it's full of really hard, male-dominated, yes, we're all tough, we're all strong in that, but you need to break away from that stigma a little bit. We still need to keep the who we are and why we do what we do about us, but we need to also understand and respect people that are finding it difficult. You can still be a hard, tough, rough and tumble guy that still needs help from time to time. And look, I'll put my hand up for that one. There's no shame in reaching out for help, and if it can really move the statistics in the right direction for once, I think that that's something so important for the industry moving forward. From the company standpoint, again, this could be an online session with multiple managers for a project where Lindsay can come in for, a 1 hour meeting a week, a month prior to a job. There's so many different aspects that Lindsay can tackle here. So it's really up to the feedback from the companies, and this is where we really want to work with the companies to understand what we know how to help, but it's what works in with the group. Okay, so while we have some ideas at the moment to get to the macro where we want to be, I think that's going to come back to a lot of feedback from the companies, what works with them. But our goal at the end of it is to reduce the statistics, keep the retention of your workers, and a happy, effective and productive workforce. That's the main goal here, The type of world that we live in now with online and internet, and especially internet, and we're getting it in the deserts in the middle of Australia now, so there's no excuse not to.
Well, that was my goal, was to make it as easily accessible as possible.
Yeah.
Because it can be difficult, especially in the construction industry, to make the time to, especially if you're working remotely, to reach out for help, or there might not be any options to do that or whatever. So the goal was to make it accessible, easily accessible.
Tell me your qualifications, okay?
Okay, so
why do I think that you're the best at this kind of thing?
So I was in college for like 9 years. I had my bachelor's degree in business, and then I graduated, moved on. I did a year in a counseling graduate program, and then I finished off and I received my master's of science and social administration, which is just a fancy word for social work.
Yep.
I'm technically a licensed therapist back home, but I haven't
in the
Ohio,
USA, if you haven't got it.
Yeah. So I'm actually qualified as a therapist, but I've gotten away from that.
You've got more opportunity to help people, and I know from firsthand that's why Lindsay was put on this earth, was to help people. You've got a greater area to help people within the construction industry, which has some of the worst statistics, rather than sitting at home dealing on a one-on-one therapy session with,
Yes, yeah.
you know,
Therapy's great, and if I was talking to someone and I felt like they needed more than what I can offer, I would obviously point them in that direction. But
that's a really good point, and we should really stress with this, there are situations, many situations, where a therapist is exactly what's needed for someone. Now,
and I am qualified to determine if that's the case. So
correct, yeah. So this is something that if Lindsay finds during a consulting session that, hey, there's some bigger issues here at hand that need some more in-depth work, Lindsay will let you know that, and then steer
we can
you.
problem solve from there. We can talk about what your options would be, and I can help you find the services.
Yeah, the services that you need in your area. Now that's something that Lindsay's knows what to look for. And us as construction guys, hey, listen, we know how to build things, but this is something that's out of our realm. So Lindsay has that knowledge, that training, but it's like when I did my apprenticeship with Caterpillar, if I can put it into those contexts. You were institutionalized with Caterpillar. Great product, fantastic, love them to pieces, but I didn't start really learning about the big bad world until I left Caterpillar, because you were part of an institution where you were limited in certain aspects and respects to, look, if you want to do mining, you can go and do mining. If you want to do this, you go and do this. Where Lindsay's at and what Lindsay understands really well is to offer her services to a broader range and to actually make a mark and leave something on this world, which we should all aspire to, in my opinion. This is a greater reach that you get by doing the consulting side.
Definitely. I think it's just more fitting for the industry and my life personally. I wanted to get out of the normal traditional therapy setting. I wanted to go do something different, and then I just being around it, I saw the need for it.
Some of the stories, just adding to that, I suppose, some of the stories that Lindsay has told me, the construction industry is an industry where there isn't many areas to reach out to. I mean, there's nothing that, there's some things here and there, but there's nothing specifically directed at the construction industry to phone, to help, to reach out or anything like that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the sessions themselves. Dealing with the one-on-one to start with, how long are the sessions?
1 hour.
1 hour, okay. There's obviously some leeways here and there with that, but again, it depends on the situation, it depends on the individual. If something else is needed, Lindsay will let you know all about that.
And then some follow-ups, I'll follow up and check in afterwards and see how things are going, and if there's another session that's needed, if you want more information, then we just go from there. But it's definitely an as-you-go type of thing.
So it comes back to the people. All
what
the
they
time.
need. It's all about what they need. I don't want to go down the road of...
There's no cookie cutter.
No, I don't want to go down the road of you have to come this many times. It's just, it's what you need. It's what you're comfortable with. That's...
Perfect. And from a company perspective, I mean, sky's the limit.
Yeah. Honestly, it would depend on what... That specifically would depend on what they need and what the severity of the problems they're having, what their goals are, things like that. So
Lindsay can work with a company. If you're a company in a large group and you've got problems, let's say with, look, I've got some people back in Australia that I know this firsthand. Retention of people is a huge thing within a lot of the mining community. So this is something that Lindsay can work on with the group. It's like what we do with the machinery and the construction side, where if I do my job properly, you should only need me for 1 or 2 projects, something like that, because the whole point about what I do is to pass my knowledge and information on to your people.
It's what you put into it, or how you apply it. Really.
And again, this is going to get into the companies themselves. They may want a program. Lindsay can put a program together for you for your specific needs. Now that would include things like, carrying out a site visit, having a look at where the people are working, the remote location of it, the services that they have available to them, and all those kinds of things. And then pretty much a high level train the trainer scenario.
Yeah.
Here's some things that you can put into place. Here's what I would recommend. Come back, do some more consulting just as a follow-up to make sure that the implementation is going on and those kinds of things. So it's the sky really is the limit, and we're always going to be steered by what the
Every situation's different.
yeah,
So you would
steered
just-
by the customers. You know, it's what the customer wants at the end of the day. Lindsay knows how to do it, but it's what the customer is, what's best suited to that customer's needs, I suppose, is the right word. Lindsay's, you know, she's got a deep well of knowledge with all of these kinds of things. So there's never going to be, and that's something that we've been very passionate about. We don't want the cookie cutter. This is what needs to happen. Because
with people, you can't do that. Not in my
Yeah.
opinion. I
Yeah.
think with people, everybody's different, and you know, with that many individuals involved, you have to kind of take it as it comes. And,
definitely,
and
yeah.
go from there.
Okay. Look, we've probably touched on this, but the goal at the end of it, we want to reduce the statistics. It's as simple as that. It's unacceptable. I mean, if this was a construction project and you had accidents to the alarming levels that you have with mental health on construction project, it is unacceptable, and something has to be done. So reducing the statistics, retention of people, and really it's a happy, healthy, productive workforce is the goal at the end of it. You know, we just want to help you build a better project. That's what it is. And if we can help by reducing the statistics and putting that positive step and a solution forward, then that's what it is that we want to do. Is it confidential?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Assume it from the time you reach out until it would be between just me and whoever, if it's the individual that reaches out, whoever they choose to
Yeah.
share that with. And yeah.
Okay. Now on that too, when you reach out, and that's probably something that we should have described there before, what have you got in place when someone reaches out to say, hey, Lindsay, I would really like a 1 hour one-on-one session just to understand some things that, you know, I've been rattling through my head. What are they? What's the process look like?
So, yeah, however you reach out, I would then just get your email address, send you
Consent form?
consent form, and then just one page that tells you about what it is. You just fill out some information, send it back to me.
Very, very basic information. We're not about, you know, bombarding you with it's not what we're about. There's plenty of places and resources for that.
It's just basic information, and then that you're consenting to our consulting services, and then you send that back to me, and then I set up a Zoom meeting and I email you that, and then we decide on a time, and then that's it.
Okay, yeah.
Pretty simple.
So it's just a one-page form, and I think out of the one-page form, there's only half of the page that's actually, you know, name, basic information, and then
phone number, email.
Yep, just some contact details,
Yep.
and then after that, it's down into this is what you expect from it. This is what the services that we provide, and signature, and that's it. You're good to go, and then you book pay the session fee as well, and then you're into the session whenever the time is. Yeah. So how do people reach out?
So I'll add my email address to the bottom of this video here, and then any of our social media accounts on Oryx Consulting or OryxCare, you could reach out. So we're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn,
and we will be uploading these videos to our Christopher James Oryx Consulting YouTube as well.
definitely direct message though.
Yep.
Just to keep it confidential, just send a message, or email would
Yeah.
be best. But yeah, however,
Everything that Lindsay posts always will have you know, you can direct message on Instagram, you can direct message on LinkedIn. Anything that I share of Lindsay's on LinkedIn especially, direct message me. I'll put you in contact with Lindsay if Lindsay's email address isn't there. But however, anytime you see a post from Oryx Consulting or OryxCare and you need that support and that help, reach out. I hope that's helped at least shine some light on OryxCare and Lindsay's little baby here. You're in really good hands, guys. I can speak from personal experience that Lindsay knows exactly what she's doing, and she knows how to address the issues that you have within you, good, bad, indifferent, and it doesn't matter. It's about getting you into a better place to get home to your families and to understand that what you're doing when you are doing construction work is the bigger picture. It's not just sometimes the dark side of it, which can get us down, can get us all down from time to time, and it could be anything from being away from home for extended periods of time. It could be it could be working with a very difficult crew. It could be working on a very difficult project. There's so many different aspects that can steer us in the wrong directions, and I know that from personal experience, but it's how we deal with that. That's what we're all about here at Oryx Consulting, is helping you guys build a better project. So from the machinery to the maintenance, now to the people. Lindsay, this is your project. Speak to the guys.
Please don't hesitate to reach out. It truly is my calling to help. I promise it'll be comfortable, it'll be easy, if you get the information, you don't want to do anything with it, that's fine, but yeah, please don't hesitate to reach out. That's what I'm here for. And
there's no harm in asking a question as well. What does it look like, Lindsay?
And if it doesn't sound like something that's going to be beneficial to you, then that's totally fine too.
And there's plenty of information on Lindsay's LinkedIn page as well.
LinkedIn and then Instagram. I post pretty much every day. I would say at least 6 days a week I'm posting something. So yeah, if you wanted more information, kind of what it's about, just head over there. But yeah, like I said, the initial reaching out initially is always the hardest part, and then it gets easier. So
definitely. All right, guys, look, much love to all of the construction industry from both Lindsay and myself, and we hope that this will go to greater places for you guys. Okay, that is our goal, that is our hope here. So from Lindsay and I, thanks very much. Much love. Bye.